Alright, what's up y'all? Today we are going to be reviewing week 3 of Brittany night of Dancing with the Stars. Like I said, it is Brittany night, so we're just going to get straight into it because I don't have time. It's 11 o'clock over here. And I got to work in the morning, so let's go. So first up, we got Amanda and Alan. They were dancing the cha-cha to Circus by Brittany. And I said it was pretty solid. I felt like her dance was really, really clean. It was really sharp. Of course, technically, she's going to be strong. Her lock steps at the beginning looked really nice. She was not looking clunky like most of these stars do. But towards the end, her shoulders and her neck kind of got, how do I describe this? Her neck was, every time she does like certain turns and whatnot, her neck kind of comes in and her shoulders start to rise up. And it looks uncomfortable. That's one note that I really saw that really could use some improvement. She was kind of stiffish in some areas. She did show some rhythm and she did show some fluidity within her body. But that was really all I really had to say in terms of that. There was a lot of splits in there. She did a lot of splits showing off her legs. Kudos to Alan for that, but I hope it doesn't become too repetitive because that can get a little boring. But yeah, so far, I mean, I just think that cha-cha was really, really good. I said I would have given it a 7. The judges gave it 3/8 straight across the board. Derek is out. Apparently, he's had some issues, possibly having COVID. So he's not here, so it'll be judged out of 30 points tonight. But they got 24 out of 30. That's a pretty solid score. Like I said, I would have given it a 7, but I can understand where they're coming from at that point. Next, we got my favorite couple, Iman and Daniela. Actually, they're my favorite couple, but there's another one who's starting to get up there right there with them. But they danced a tango to Piece of Me. First of all, I loved the scenery. I loved their set. I loved their costumes. I loved the start of their dance. And then just the mood that they set. Like, this was the first tango that I've seen in seasons that actually felt like a tango, looked like a tango, and really just felt like one. The vibe, like the mood was set. The music was the music, and the Piece of Me, I don't think it's really a tango song, but Daniela, she's the go. Like, she makes it what it needs to be. The dance starts to feel like old school Dancing with the Stars when you watch her dance. Like, when you watch her dance and you watch her choreograph stuff, that's just what you get. And she gave him a very, very strong, content heavy tango, and I feel like Iman really handled himself really, really well. I wasn't really expecting him to be super great at it because look at their height difference. Like, tango, you're supposed to be in frame, and when you're in frame, your arms need to be kind of up here, and you need to kind of be elongating your neck as well, and that's for women and men. But you see the height difference, and if Iman's up here like this the whole time, Daniela's going to be up here like this. So, I mean, I completely understood where he was a little over. He was a little over his body, but she's small. Like, he can't really do too much. But I felt like he did really well. I mean, his footwork was kind of choppy at the beginning and the end whenever they got in the hole. But pretty solid effort from him. Out of the 3, I wouldn't say would be my favorite. But that's my team. That's my team. That's just what it is. And Daniela, that choreography was probably one of the most content-heavy tangos I've seen in history. I shouldn't say history, but in the past couple seasons. So yeah, and then that's the thing too. Daniela in Latin is otherworldly, but you can see that this girl is a 10 dance champion. Like, this girl is equally as strong in ballroom, and in my opinion, I think she's easily the strongest standard ballroom technician on the show. Right there with a couple others that I'm about to talk about as well. So we're going to move on to Christina and Pasha. They danced the Paso Doble to Stronger. This dance, it was very stop-starty. It was very kind of steppy for me. It was kind of like very place, and walk. Like, that's kind of what I was getting. The choreography, I really wasn't feeling the choreography. I didn't feel like it wasn't anything standoutish. And that's the crazy thing, because Pasha, looking at him and Daniela's routines, like with them competing and whatnot, it's just a different level of what he's putting on the show. And maybe it's because of the level of his partners that he's had, but it's not doing anything for me. I wasn't really a fan of the choreography. Like I said, there were certain movements towards the ends, like little creative quirks that could have been nice if it was with maybe a different person with a different attack and a different approach to the dance, because I didn't feel like Christine was really giving that fire, anger type deal that was going on with the stronger Paso Doble, because she doesn't give me that power, and that she doesn't give me that. She just gives me very smiley and bubbly, and that's kind of what it looked like when she was trying to crack his neck at the end of the dance. And I was like, that I see what you're trying to do, but it wasn't executed well. So I said I would have given that a 6. Oh, I didn't even tell you what Daniella and Iman's was. I said I would have given them a 6. No, I said I would have given them a 7. And they got a 7 from Carrie Ann, a 6 from Lynn, and a 6 from Bruno for 19 out of 30. Christine and Pasha, I said I would have given them a 6. And they got straight 7s across the board for 21 out of 30. I feel like those were pick-me-up scores. Her package was very emotional. She was crying about basically being in the bottom 2, possibly going home. She wants to be there, yada, yada, yada. I appreciate that and everything, but like, just score the dance the way the dance needs to be scored. And I think 6s would have been accurate, but that's just me. We're now going to move on to Jojo and Jenna dancing the Argentine tango to Hit Me Baby One More Time. First of all, before we even get into their dance, I feel like Dancing with the Stars missed a huge opportunity. You could have had Jenna as Madonna, and you could have had Jojo as Britney doing Me Against the Music. Tell me I'm not the only one that thought that. Like, and they could have been a jazz dance. Like, this literally could have been a dance that would go in the history books. That would have went in the history books. Like, but we didn't get that, and it could have been jazz too. Like, imagine that. Imagine them two doing jazz what? But anyways, let's talk about what they got. They got the Argentine tango to Hit Me Baby One More Time. First of all, their costumes. I love their costumes and I love their shoes. They're not wearing heels. They're wearing like Cuban heels, the rehearsal type dance shoes that you would wear. And they're colored in a nice way that kind of complements their outfits. And I just love the mood that was set. They started off kind of like facing each other, doing very mirror. And that's the thing with Jenna. Her choreography this season so far, she's been having Jojo mirror every single thing that she does. And that is difficult because Jenna does very technical things. So for her to be having her mirror her the entire time, just about the entire time, that shows what a strong dancer and performer Jojo really is. If you're out here matching that, we all know she's a dancer, but ballroom is different than jazz and hip hop. It just is. And she's doing her thing. And I love the beginning of their dance because they kind of started off like coming in together and then kind of doing these little quirks with their arms to match the music. That's where Jenna's choreography is. It's on another level. It's on another level than the rest of these people on this show. It really is. The only one that's challenging her is Daniella. She's the only one. But I just loved it. Like, they had so many great things going on. The frame was pretty well. They both were just switching off, doing just adding quirky things. Like Jenna would do like a scorpion back bend, and then Jojo would do certain things as well. It was just a play on each other, and it was really dope. And then the lifts. Jojo is lifting a grown woman. She is lifting a grown woman, like lifting her. Like Jenna jumps straight into her arms. She's lifting her as she's turning, and then the ending where she does that complete, I would say 180 maybe, but it was like a full, Jenna was flipping in the air, put it that way. And Jojo had her, and Jenna hit that last pose on that beat. Killer. I said I would have given that a 9. I would have given that the first 9 of the season. But they got straight 8s across the board, 24 out of 30. Whatever, I'll take it. Next we move on to Kenya and Brandon. They're dancing the tango to Womanizer. This dance was super duper duper clean. Kenya is really, really, really good. Like, Kenya does no wrong to me so far, especially in this dance. I think the song was great for a tango. I feel like Brandon gave her great choreography. I feel like it could have been a little bit more creative, really. Add a little bit more creative quirks, but it was content heavy. It was a full tango, and I really appreciated that. And Kenya, I just feel like the only thing Kenya could have did better was just have a little bit more attack in her movement. Like, I feel like for a tango, she could have done it a little bit more sharp and a little bit more powerful, because Kenya is very, very graceful, and that's what it looked like, a very, very graceful tango. Like, she was doing what she needed to do. It just was very graceful. Just give me a little bit more attack. But other than that, I thought it was fabulous. I said I would have given that an 8. but them whack ass judges gave it straight 7s. Like, how you gonna give that? Well, we'll get on it. I'm really pissed off about them two and them judges, but we'll get to that at the end. Next, we'll move on to Brian, Austin Green, and Sharna. They're doing the Tango to Till the World Ends. This song, out of all of Britney's songs that were done tonight, is probably the one I don't like the most. And this dance wasn't that great to me. I feel like he was very stiff. Like, it's like he can't keep his back straight for anything, and it's kind of like he was leaning into Sharna the whole time. And I felt like he just looked very odd and uncomfortable, and it was like, I don't feel like he's gonna be able to really dance. Like, and I think it's crazy too. But I mean, Sharna looked good. I mean, but I felt like out of the first group of dances that we just watched, that was the most boring one for me. Like, I felt like he was very unsure of his movement, and I mean, he's guiding Sharna around the floor with. I mean, he's protecting her, and you can tell he's really trying to keep her good. But like, dancing, he's stomping around the floor. Like, it's not it. It's not it. I would have given that a 5. But they got a 7 from Carrie Ann and 2 6s. This is where I started to get pissed, because Carrie Ann just gave a 7 to Kenya, and I think that's fucking crazy how you give her the same score that you give Brian for stomping around the floor. Are you serious? We'll get on that. Well, I'll elaborate a little more once we get to us, like, because I'm really irritated. And then we get on to Melora and Artem. They were doing a cha-cha. And like I said, I feel like Melora, just because I believe what she had, the first dance she had was ballroom, which was a tango, I want to say. Last week she had a rumba, which is very lyrical. So those two dances are two dances that I would see her, just like on paper, I can see her doing well at those, even though I didn't expect her to be as good as she actually is. I was just thinking, okay, she's the older woman of the bunch. I was just expecting her to be horrible. This woman's got lines, she's got legs, her ankles are very, very nicely arched, and she's got a nice point to her movement. Her arms are great. She's very rhythmical, shockingly. Like, this cha-cha was one of the best dances of the night, and I was not expecting her to have that much rhythm, that much personality. And she was in time with Artem the whole time, and I just thought it was great. I mean, I really thought it was great. It was super clean. They danced to crazy. And yeah, I said I would have given that an 8. And Carrie Ann gave it an 8, Lynn gave it a 7, and Bruno gave it an 8. So they got 23 out of 30. So we'll move on from that. Next, we got Mel C and Gleb dancing the tango. First of all, that is to Toxic. This song, first of all, I'm so sick of them playing this song on the show. Like, it's certain songs on the show that Dancing with the Stars play the absolute hell out. Like, there's so many different Britney songs you could have chose to do a tango to, and you choose Toxic yet again. Like, how many Toxic tangos have been on the show? But back to what I was gonna say, Gleb, that suit that homeboy had on, that whole fit that he had was tight, clean. I want it. It was nice. Like, Gleb had a very tight fit on, and that their whole just look together, that was my favorite look of the night. Like, they looked good. But let's talk about their dance going into their tango. She's just a very good dancer. She's a very good dancer. She was dancing at the top with the two pros that aren't pros, with celebrities, and she was in time with them the whole time. And I feel like the only issue I had with this is when they finally got into hold. It's like half the song was gone before they got in the hold. And Gleb, I'm one of the ones that don't really hate on him like that, but because when it comes to ballroom, like standard ballroom, and not even just standard ballroom, just Latin, if you ask me, like, in terms of just technicians on the show, the top 3 out of this entire group for me is definitely, for the girls, is definitely Daniella, and it's Jenna right behind her. And then you got Gleb in a class of his own with these men. Like, say what you want to say about his choreography, but this dude is on head and shoulders above the rest of these other people when it comes to just technique, Latin and ballroom. Like, nobody's touching him in ballroom in terms of the men. Nobody's touching him when it comes to that. Like, you can see his hold. When he gets in hold with these girls, like, they be looking good. Like, looking good. And she looked good when she was in hold, but she just had some very messy footwork towards the end, which I didn't like. But overall, I felt like the dance was very entertaining. It could have been better. Like I said, just a little bit more hold, obviously, and fixing those errors with the footwork. But I feel like she did really well. So I said I would have given it a 7, only because of those mistakes. and the not starting and really having a lot of hold throughout the dance. Like, you look at the Tango hold with this dance and Kenya or Iman's, it wasn't enough. But they got a 7 from Carrie and a 7 from Lynn and an 8 from Bruno, giving them 22 out of 30. Next, we got Jimmie and Emma dancing the salsa. This dance, and they were dancing to Outrageous. Actually, I said, who did I say had the best song? One of them I said had the best song out of the bunch. This song was actually the best song out of the bunch. Outrageous. This song, I just love the beat. It's a really good song to have. I don't know if it would be considered a salsa, but that's what they had. The costumes were pink, and I don't feel like pink just wasn't what I was thinking whenever I heard this song. I don't know what I was really thinking anyway. I was thinking maybe green or blue or maybe black. I don't know. But for some reason, I was a little underwhelmed. I didn't know what to say really as to why I felt that way. Because I felt like, and I guess because the choreography, I felt some of the choreography choices, like the in-betweens, like the breakdowns, I felt like were kind of childish-like, truthfully. I love Emma, but I wasn't really a fan of this. I wasn't. I felt like Jimmie, I felt like he could have done a lot better. I was expecting him to do a lot better too, but it wasn't bad, but I just didn't think it was that great. And I said I would have given that a 6. I just really wanted more out of that. That's just really what it comes down to. Like, last week, I was, I said that it was in my top 3. But I was just expecting more and wanted more because I know that they both can give more. It's just one of them dances that, I mean, it's just not your dance. And they got a 6 from Carrie and a 6 from Lynn and an 8 from Bruno. So they're kind of all over the place. 20 out of 30. Next, we move on to Olivia and Val dancing the tango. And when I tell you, and they danced to Hold It Against Me. When I tell you I really want to dislike this couple so bad. Like, I really want to dislike this couple. But I'm telling you, this girl is really fucking good. Like, this girl is good. And it's shocking. And it's like she's bringing Val to a different level of creativity. Because I feel like the first 2 dances were not there. Like, last week's dance was really good, but in terms of just choreography alone, I don't feel like Val has been delivering. And I don't feel like he's really been delivering for some seasons now, but this dance was it. Like, this is where he was in his bag. She was in her bag. She looked great. They both were wearing red. They were dancing to Hold It Against Me. This is kind of a tango-ish song. It was kind of inappropriate. It felt like it was inappropriate for me to watch, but maybe it's just me just knowing that he's in a relationship. It just felt weird to me, but take that out. They're performing, so I can't, let me take that back. They're performing a dance. So it was very sexual and it was kind of sexy. And I was like, okay. But like I said, she's good. Like, she's really good. Like, she was moving around that floor. She had great hold. She's probably got the best hold out of all the females this season, if you ask me. And they oddly have a decent connection. Like, it's really weird, but they do. And it's a good partnership. I can't hate on it. I said I would have given that an 8. And they got straight 8s from the judges, 24 out of 30. Pretty solid. So we move on to Cody and Cheryl dancing a jazz dance to Slay For You. I'm lying. Give me more. First of all, before we get into this, they are literally performing this dance live at their houses, wearing these costumes. And the costume Cheryl was wearing, I'm like, I swear I've seen her wear that costume 80 times. Like, why are they still putting her in the same costume? But they were at the house, and they was at their motherfucking house, y'all, dancing this dance. They got the whole set and crew up there. But Cody, you could tell Cody was waiting for this week. Like, it's like he would catch COVID this week of all weeks and not be able to be in studio with Cheryl to dance his dance live on the floor. But he was giving it everything he had, and Cheryl was over there looking good, and she was giving it everything she had. It was just a very funny thing to watch, though. I don't know why it was so funny to me, but it was. It was like they were just giving it their all at their house, and it's just so funny to me. I don't know why it was so funny to me, but it was. But, I really didn't have much to say, truthfully, because it really wasn't jazz. It was more so like hip-hop infused salsa. That's why when it comes to jazz and contemporary on this show, I don't want nobody touching it but Jenna. I don't want nobody touching it but Jenna. Whitney can touch it, but Jenna is just the only one that knows how to choreograph it the way it needs to be choreographed and dance it the way it needs to be danced with actual contemporary and jazz technique. You don't need to be just doing lifts all the time, and you don't need to be doing hip hop and calling it jazz. Like, that's not what it is. And contemporary, with these other dancers on the show, they just throw a bunch of lifts in there. That's not what it is. Like, you need to be doing pirouettes. You need to be doing leaps and stuff. Like, you need to be doing it all. Like, that's not what it, that's what contemporary and jazz is. In jazz, I want it, like, when I say hold me against, what was it? Be against the music. When I said that her and Jojo would have did that jazz justice, I would have seen, like, the jazz I grew up watching, like, some power, like, some fierce fire, jazz, funky type stuff. So, anyways, enough about that. I get into these rants. But yeah, I felt like it was good though. I didn't feel like it was that bad. I didn't. But I said I would have given it a 6 though. I don't know why, but I did. It kind of contradicts myself, but they got 6s across the board from the judges, giving them 18 out of 30. So we now move on to probably the most awkward and weirdest dance for me tonight. Suni and Sasha, they danced the foxtrot to Slay For You. What? Like, what? And then they gave the most iconic Britney Spears song to the most dull couple of the season, truthfully. And I just, man, this was a train wreck for me to watch. First of all, the choreography Sasha gave her was probably the worst I've seen tonight. Like, he had her do this handstand on the table, and old girl was wobbling. And it was funny to me at first, though, because she was standing, before she started the dance, they had the camera facing her, and she was smiling and then not smiling and smiling. And it's like she was trying to figure out what moves she wanted to have in the middle of getting ready to dance. But then that happened, but what really killed this dance for me was that fucking music and that singer. That singer butchered the hell out of this song. Butchered it. Like, that shit was horrible. But the dance itself was just so weird. It didn't feel like a foxtrot. Like, nothing about this dance was good. I would not rewatch this. And if I'm going to rewatch it, it's probably to laugh, which I hate. Like, I feel like Suni, like I said last week, on paper, she should be top dog in this competition, but she's not. She's not. And I fear, no, I ain't going to say that because I know they're going to vote for her. I know they're going to vote for her. I was going to say I fear that she might go home soon, but she possibly could go home soon, but I feel like she'll be here around. But I said I would have given that a 6, and the judges gave her straight 7s across the board, 21 out of 30. I believe that might be her lowest score that she's gotten. So we're now going to move on to Matt and Lindsay dancing a tango to Scream and Shout. This is another one of those songs that I really like from Britney. It's a really good tango song. The tango vibe that they set in terms of the set was nice. Their black outfits were nice. Choreographically, I feel like this was Lindsay's best one this season, but for all that bitching and moaning that she was doing this past week about the scores, claiming and acting like he deserved 10s for that stiff-ass samba with them pigeon-toed feet, like, nah, like, what are you bitching for? Like, and then want to call Carrie Ann out saying that, like, she had preconceived notions coming into, like, how is that? Like, you really looked at that dance that Matt did last week and thought that deserved higher than what it got. Like, that was even generous, the score that he got. But this tango was his best dance for me. I feel like this is definitely his best dance, but that's not saying much, really. But y'all probably gonna hate me. These fans are gonna hate me for all this shit I'm talking, but guess what? That's me. That's me. But anyways, I felt like he looked like Squidward in a suit, and I said that on Twitter. But I felt like his technique wasn't that great. Like, the frame wasn't great. I feel like the dance itself was riddled with bad technique. The only thing that was good was the choreography, if you ask me. I said I would have given that a 6. They got a 7, a 6, and a 7. And this is where I really got pissed. Carrie Ann and Bruno, not even Bruno, what did he give? Yeah, Carrie Ann and Bruno gave this the same score they gave Kenya and Brandon's. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you for real? Like, are you for real? Like, that's why I'm so mad right now. It really pisses me off how she's getting shafted like this. And it's like, when she ends up, I'll get to it. I'm just trying to talk too quick. So we move on to the last dance, which is the Miz and Witney dancing a salsa, I believe it was. Oops, I did it again. First of all, Whitney doing Britney. It just just sounds and fits, and it just makes sense. And they danced the salsa to this song, and this song is not a salsa song, but Whitney found a way to make it work. Like, her lists were killer. The salsa just felt odd. Whenever she did salsa steps in there with him, it just felt odd. But the Miz, he was very stiff. Like I said on Twitter, like, she needs to have him sit and listen to music all day long. Like I said last week, or the week before last, rhythm cannot be taught. You cannot teach that. You have to sit and listen to music. You have to find the beat. You have to find the rhythm within your body, and that's only something that you can do by listening to music. You either have it or you don't, and if you don't have it, you just listen to music, and that's how you get it. He just needs to do that because he's very entertaining to watch. They're a great couple to watch, and Whitney's going to give him choreography. She's going to give him good stuff. He's just got to find that rhythm and find a way to make it look right. I didn't put my score, but I said I would have given that a 7. And they got a 7 from Carrie and a 7 from Lynn and an 8 from Bruno. So now we're going to move on to this elimination. The bottom 2 was Kenya and Brandon and Christine and Pasha. First of all, I don't feel like Kenya should have even been in the bottom 2. She shouldn't even been in jeopardy. She shouldn't be in jeopardy until at least like the semifinal. Like, in terms of looking at the dancers, and when I say the dancers, I'm talking about the celebrities. The only ones that are either above her or at her level, Amanda, Jojo, Suni, who else? Melora. But that's 4. Out of what? We're sitting here, we just got rid of one couple, so that's what, 14 left? She shouldn't be seeing Jeopardy until like top 5. Why the fuck is she seeing the bottom 2 on it's week 3, but elimination 2? What? And then we get to the judges' saves. First of all, they sit there talking about something. This is a very difficult decision. How is this a difficult decision? Christine is not that good. She's not even on the same level as Kenya, if you ask me, as a dancer and as a performer. It's just not the same. So they trying to make all this big spectacle and then acting like, it's like the faces that they make whenever they end up in the bottom 2, and then they sitting there like, oh my God, I don't know how this happened. You don't know how this happened? You scored them the same as people that are barely even moving out there and are stiff. Like, what are you talking about? Y'all don't realize that these scores impact certain votes too. Like, and it doesn't help that she's a black woman on this show. Like, black women don't win on this show. Black people randomly, I mean, some of them do, especially the men. The men will. But the women, they don't get none of the respect that they deserve. Like, there's been so many women in this history of this show that should have won their seasons that are black women. And I'll just go down some of them. Like, you got Mel B, she should have won her season. You got Brandy, should have won her season. You got Maya, should have won her season. Zendaya, Normani, Tinashe, Tamar. Like, that's just to name a few. Like, are you for real? Like, are you for real? And then Kenya is, like, close to being one of those people that's going to possibly go home. And that sucks. But Carrie Ann saved Kenya. Bruno saved Kenya. And then Lynn's going to get his stupid racist ass up and get up and say that he would have saved Christina and Pasha. We know why you would have saved her. We know why you would have. Because Kenya, you sending her home, it makes no sense. It makes no sense other than the fact that you just don't like black people. That's just what I'm coming down to. I'm sorry. That's just what I feel. And it's just from the history of the show. He's always tougher on the black dancers. It's just the truth. But that's just what it is. And that's my thoughts. I'm trying to end it on a higher note, on a more fun note. My top 3 of the night were definitely Jojo and Jenna. That they are just in a different class. I just love watching them dance together. I just love seeing what Jenna comes up with, because she can literally do whatever she wants. Like, she can play and just expand her creativity in a way that she's never been able to do on the show before. Because she's danced with girls before. And when I say she's danced with girls before, she comes from the competition world. And when I say the competition world, I'm talking about outside of ballroom. She's done that too, but she's danced wow, I was talking for 30 minutes, didn't even realize it. But like I said, she had danced with troops before, so she knows, she's danced like doing contemporary and lyrical dances with other girls. But like dancing a ballroom dance, that's new to her. So she gets to play with that stuff, and that's cool. Top 3. Who else would I add in my top 3? Olivia and Val. They showed out this week. And third, third, I'm gonna say Melora and Artem. They did that. My bottom three is definitely Matt and Lindsay, Brian and Sharna, and going into this week, we're going to say, who else? I said Brian and Sharna, Matt and Lindsay, and do I have a bottom three? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Who's gonna... Suni and Sasha. What the fuck? Yes. Why did that completely lose my mind? Yes, them three. That's the bottom three. That's it. That is it. If you like what you... first of all, if you like what you see, thumbs up the video. Drop a comment down below. What's your name? Trini Boy, I see you. You've been in my comments. I see a lot of your responses. You got so many in so many different comments, I can't really respond, but you cool. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, drop a comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Who are your favorites? What are your thoughts on this week? What do you think about the scoring? Let me know. And yeah, and then whoever posted my video on Reddit, I saw that. Thank you. Thank you for that. But yeah, thank you. Do it again, please. Give me some more views. I'm trying to get this page monetized. But thank you again. Subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. That stuff is in the info box. And I will see y'all next week. Rose hopefully will be here. She got stuck in a storm, so she wasn't able to be here with me tonight. But hopefully everything's good next week. And you'll see both of us here. And we'll be able to bounce off of each other. But that's me signing off. It is fucking 11:49 p.m. I got to work in the morning. Peace.